Раз, раз. Good evening, dear friends. Thank you very much for coming here tonight. Thank you for sharing this important evening with us. And before we start our program, I would like to say a few words about how I remember this day exactly 4 years ago. It was 24th of February 2022, and one of my closest friends called me early morning saying that Kyiv was under attack, and so were other cities of Ukraine. And I remember feeling lots of different emotions, mixture of different emotions, really. And my mom was in Kyiv back then, and I was really, really worried about her, about my family members, about my friends, about my friends moving towards the front line. And apart from that, I think, as many of you remember, we were feeling other emotions like hate towards terrorist state of Russia, especially their soldiers committing war crimes every day, towards Russian citizens that supported that war, supported Putin's regime, supported this war even for working and supporting propaganda, working in the industry, war industry, and military industry, and other regular jobs like teaching, etc. I was feeling big disappointment towards different country leaders that even supported the aggressor. And among all these feelings, I remember a feeling of loneliness. And so were so many Ukrainians, because those who were at that time in Ukraine, they felt loneliness because of the enemy being so close to them. Those who fled the country were lonely in a new environment, in new country, in new culture, new city or town. And 4 years later, we're still experiencing all of these feelings. Our hate towards Russian state even, grew stronger. Disappointment is still there because some of the country leaders make very wrong decisions, let's put it this way. But I don't feel lonely anymore. And I hope that Ukrainians, some of the Ukrainians here in this room, they don't feel lonely because of you guys, because of organizations like local Richmond charities, trusts, funds, volunteers, regular members of Richmond community. We know, we understand that 4 years is a long time. It's a long time. But even though people get tired of the war, especially, the media fatigue is there, but nevertheless, you still stand strong with us. And I would like to thank you for that. Thank you very much. I would like to say a couple of words in Ukrainian. Дорогі українці, хочу подякувати вам за те, що ви з нами, за те, що ви підтримуєте Україну, навіть незважаючи на те, що ви далеко від батьківщини, далеко від своїх рідних, близьких, далеко від дому. Я знаю, що кожен з вас, кожен українець робить все можливе для того, щоб наблизити перемогу. І я вірю в те, що перемога настане, і цей день настане, і це моя найзаповітніша мрія. І я маю надію, що разом з вами ми зберемося в залі навіть більше, ніж десь цей зал, для того, щоб відсвяткувати нашу перемогу. Щиро на це надіюся і щиро вам дякую всім. I just said big thanks to all of the members of Ukrainian community, all of the Ukrainians that support Ukraine, even though they're far, far away from their homes, their loved ones. And one day, and I absolutely sure that day will come very soon. And I have this hope, and this is my biggest dream, that all of us can get together even in a bigger venue, and we will celebrate our Victory Day. In a very, very British spirit, I would like to say, let's keep calm and carry on, and let's do not lose this hope. And even if there's no faith, we still have hope. Let's remember that. And my last couple of thank yous will be to our wonderful volunteers, our great teachers, and ordinary people that help us every day in Ukrainian Social Club, in different Ukrainian projects and events. I would like to say thank you to representatives of local organizations. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being with us tonight, and thank you for all your hard work that you do for Ukrainian refugees, Ukrainian families here in Ukraine and based in Ukraine. And I would like to say thank you to Richmond Council, and thank you very much, dear Nancy. Very, very special to have you as our supporter, our friend. I would like to say thank you to Julia Cambridge, who was our first mayor of Richmond when the war started. And I remember how Julia was, all your kindness, all you did for Ukrainians in 2022. Thank you very much, and thank you, Fiona. You will be on stage a little bit later, but thank you very much for all you do, how you support Ukrainians, and Slava Ukraini! I would like to invite to the stage the Deputy of Mayor of Richmond, Councillor Claire Volum.
Thank you very much, Alina, and I think we should all thank and congratulate Alina for organising this event, for organising so many things, and the fact that so many people are here is a testament to the work that she has done. So I am here to represent the London Borough of Richmond. which is a borough of sanctuary. So I welcome you all here, and I know that you're all here for different reasons. We have lots of people from Ukraine, we have supporters, we have people who are just interested in what is happening and feel for the country of Ukraine. I know that we are also alongside many events that are happening across the world, but also in Ukraine. So listening to the news tonight, they were telling us about the events that are happening in Ukraine. So I thought I would start this evening with a minute's silence, which will start in a few seconds, which is for everyone to just close their eyes and just sort of have a moment to reflect on why we're here, what it means to you, and whatever thoughts come into your head. So if everybody could close their eyes, including me, we're just going to keep a minute's silence. Okay, there's our minute. So then, before I came here, I sort of had a few reflections myself. The first one was to give our thanks to the Ukrainian army, who are risking their lives for the sake of their country and their people, and are often living in the most horrific circumstances. So I wanted to think of them and give them thanks. I wanted to think of the people currently living and surviving in Ukraine in very difficult circumstances. I often, in my comfortable life in Richmond, feel a bit cold and complain about the rain and the weather, but it's, zero compared to what the people of Ukraine are experiencing. And I think it puts our worries in this country into perspective when we think of what people in Ukraine are actually experiencing. We also remember many people who've lost their lives, civilians and people in the army, and also innocent people who've been sent to the front by Russia, who've also lost their lives, who haven't understood what it is they've been sent to do or why they're doing it. And I think we have to acknowledge that there are victims the other side as well of a regime that is cruel. The London Borough of Richmond welcomes you and the people of Ukraine, and we do our best to support you as you are separated from the country you love and the people that you love. And as Alina said, that is not easy. However much we welcome you, however much we support you, you are still separated and not free to do as you please with your family. But we also thank you for the culture, the resources, the joy, and the companionship that you bring to us, that the Ukrainian society has brought to us. It seems to have been a very mutually celebratory relationship where we've been able to celebrate what Ukraine brings to us. So sometimes people think it's one-way traffic, but we believe it's mutually, it's good for both, for us and for you. And I think I would also like to say, to echo Alina's words, which is that we pray for peace and we hope for peace, and we have to keep that thought and belief going to keep us going. So that's rather a somber note to end on, but I think we do have to pray and have hope. And I will now introduce the Borough of Sanctuary champion, Fiona Sachs, who is going to talk to you some more.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Deputy Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We gather to mark 4 years since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. 4 long years in which lives have been shattered, families torn apart, so many people lost. A sovereign nation forced to defend its freedom against brutal aggression. Changing borders by force must never become acceptable. If it does, the outlook for every nation is bleak. Anniversaries like this are never easy. They are moments for reflection and remembrance. We honor all who have lost their lives: soldiers, civilians, parents, children, neighbors, friends. We remember too the poets, the writers, the artists, the musicians, whose voices have been silenced, but whose work endures. Culture is not a footnote to conflict, it is the soul of a nation. And as I know we will hear tonight, Ukraine's soul remains unbroken. 4 years on, though, the suffering continues. Russia's invasion has caused the largest forced migration in Europe since World War II. Nearly 6 million people have sought refuge far from home. Some have found that refuge here, in Richmond upon Thames. And I speak to those directly. You did not choose to leave your homes, you were forced to flee. Yet within our community, you have begun to rebuild. Many of your children are thriving in our schools, despite arriving traumatized. You are contributing to our economy, sharing your culture and creativity with us. You enrich our borough through your energy, your enterprise, and your indomitable spirit. We trust that in turn, Richmond, a home that you never expected to need, has become a place of belonging, a place of hope. As Borough of Sanctuary champion, I am proud that Richmond is defined by compassion, by inclusion. When the call came, our residents answered. Doors opened, spare rooms became sanctuaries. Residents here extended their hand to the stranger, not to push them down, but to help them up. Strangers became friends. It is fitting in this church to remember Hebrews 13, verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Through the seeking and offering of sanctuary, we have indeed found angels in our midst. Thank you to our 666 hosts who welcomed over 1,200 Ukrainians with generosity and trust. Thank you to our community, faith and voluntary groups who have given so much of their time and effort to provide Ukrainians with well-being support, employment, legal advice, English classes, children's activities, and much, much more, for offering friendship. I particularly want to recognize the extraordinary work of the Ukrainian Social Club, who are our hosts this evening. Founded by Ukrainians to help Ukrainians and supported by the Council, it has become a vibrant community hub, a place for Ukrainians to gather, to celebrate their culture, access advice, feel understood. Through the dedication of Alina Lutz, Maria Kuryanova and their team, the help has been life-affirming, even life-saving. There are angels in our midst. Please, support them however you can. Being a borough of sanctuary is not a single act of welcome. It is a sustained community commitment. But it is more than that. It is about empowerment, not dependency. It is about listening to lived experience and shaping services around those voices. It is about dignity. It is also a promise that those who seek safety here will be met with humanity, that we will stand against division, that we will build a borough where everyone can thrive and belong for as long as they need to. We are deeply moved by the courage of Ukrainians here. You endure unimaginable loss, yet you show unimaginable strength. You remind us that resilience is not abstract. It is lived every day. You inspire us to step up. And let us remember, today of all days, Ukraine is defending not only its own territory, but the values of freedom, democracy, and peace, values upon which Britain and Europe stand. In standing with Ukraine, we stand for the principles our parents and grandparents fought for. As the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said recently, Ukraine does not have to be grateful. We should be grateful to Ukraine. There has been much darkness, especially during this winter, one of the coldest for decades. But there has also been light. The unbelievable bravery of those defending their homeland, the kindness of those delivering aid, some from Richmond, and yes, I'm looking at you, Robin Jowett, the generosity of hosts and volunteers, the determination of communities to keep going when the path is long and terrifying. So let us reaffirm that Richmond stands with Ukraine. We stand with those here who long for peace and the day that they can return home safely. We stand with those still in Ukraine, enduring unimaginable hardship. We stand with kindness over cruelty, solidarity over indifference, hope over despair. And let us recommit ourselves, not just in words, but in action, to sustaining welcome and compassion for as long as it is needed. To our Ukrainian friends here, you are not alone. Your Richmond family walks alongside you. We hope with you, and we will continue to work and pray for the day when a just and lasting peace prevails in Ukraine. As President Zelensky said, we do not know for certain what this new year will bring us, but whatever it brings, we will be stronger together. Slava Ukraini!
March 22nd, 2022. It's very difficult for me to catch the rhythm. It's very difficult to catch the rhythm. Hatred is the only thing that hardens me. When I look at photos from the bombed maternity ward in Mariupol, hatred blossoms in my heart for the fascist Russian. My colleague can't find her parents. They lived in Mariupol. I tell my colleague that she should leave Kyiv and go abroad, but I get a clear answer: I will go nowhere without my parents. I will go nowhere without my parents. Either we will get out together or we die together. Hatred is born in my heart when I read comments under the posts of fashionable racist bloggers. What have we done? Hatred and anger are purely physiological sensations. War and physiology go together, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, like Siamese twins. This cannot be explained, just as childbirth cannot be explained. Hatred makes it difficult to breathe. It's hard to breathe. Hatred makes you want to kill. You want to kill the one who kills you. When I fled my hometown, I took a knife. I took a knife to protect my child. My child is not afraid of air raid sirens. She's no longer afraid of air raid sirens. When we first fled to a bomb shelter, my daughter was frightened. She said odd, scary things like I had plans for life. I don't want to die. I had plans. My child is 12 years old. We all had plans for life. Now the ground has been pulled out from under me. I have no plans. I stand strong only because I love those who remain at home. When the war began, my eyesight has been fucked. I never wore glasses at school. I teased all the four eyes. Now I've received my comeuppance. I can't see letters without glasses, although vision does return when your child is in danger, when your child is in mortal danger. You can see even the tiniest letters in a screenshot when it concerns your child's safety. And you grow strong, standing on a step of a train, pulling your child from a crowd of mad people, shouting, "Please, please, please, please," at the conductress. You pull your child from the crowd by her arm. Your child's wearing a funny hat with a pom-pom on top. It's very fetching. And you're very strong in this moment as you pull your child from the crowd by her arm. When I was a teenager, I dreamed of my school lifting off into the sky. This was school number 153, named after Pushkin in Kiev. Now there are bombs falling there. You must be careful what you wish for. You never know when your wishes will come true. My school, named after Pushkin, which no one ever thought of renaming until the Russians started bombing Ukraine, till the Russian orcs started bombing Kiev. I hope that my school will be renamed. I will be the first to create a petition. I will make sure that no school in Ukraine ever again bears the name of a Russian poet or writer. The Ochmedet Children's Hospital stands just across the street from my school. The Ochmedet Children's Hospital, where sick children are brought from all over Ukraine. Sick children with, well, whose kidneys don't function, who need dialysis, sick children with cancer, children sick with poisoning, fractures, they're brought here too. There is no one there except children and doctors. I know, because before the war, I did a report on Ochmedet. There are no strategic facilities there. Nothing but my school, number 153, named after Pushkin. After the first shelling, one child being treated at Ochmedet died. I know that for a fact. I don't know how many are dead now. Since the war began, my eyesight has been fucked. I can't see letters without glasses. My eyesight returned only once, when I was able to read an important message in a screenshot. It was a life and death message. Your vision sharpens when it's a matter of life and death. Hatred. Hatred is a physiological property. I write in Russian, and I hate it. I write in Russian because I want this text to be read by Russians. I realized that hatred is a purely physiological feeling when I was at a cold railway station, watching a crowd of people getting off the train with their dogs. The train spat people out onto a snow-covered platform like my child spits chewing gum. Chewing gum. The chewing gum is bloody because my child's nose is bleeding. She is calm, blood flows, but there is blood coming from her nose. That is how anxiety manifests itself. The anxiety that my little girl has been trying to contain all this time. The fact that the passengers on the train from Kyiv can be read in their faces. It's easy to read faces when everyone has one face. War puts a stamp on faces, a singular stamp. You can read us by the circles under our eyes. We all have circles under the eyes now. Circles under the eyes are a sign of war, the stamp of war. But what's most difficult is seeing old people in wheelchairs being dragged along muddy tire tracks. Oh God, I've forgotten what that is in Russian. That their relatives drag them over these ruts. They drag children too, and on leashes they drag huge breeds of dogs with short tails. Naturally, some child carries a teddy bear, a bow-legged bear rumbles through the woods, and now a Russian bear. A Russian bear stalks my land with its damned ugly paws. This bear has the frightened face of a conscript who has shut himself out of fear. His name is fodder. I do not feel sorry for conscripts. Shit on them. I do not feel sorry for Russian soldiers. Shit on them. I do not feel sorry for Russian women who will not be able to buy up IKEA. IKEA, they won't be able to buy it up. Burn in hell, bitches. I feel sorry for our Ukrainian children, our elderly, and the women who tried to escape the war and were killed by the Russian occupiers. Their photos are on the internet, right there on the internet. The evidence of the crimes of Russian soldiers will resurface in The Hague. In the meantime, horses. There once lived a horse near Kyiv. She lived in a good stables. She was 4 years old. In human age, that's about 12 or so. Same age as my daughter. The horse's name was Fraley. A horse receives its name by way of both its parents, part of the father's name and part of the mother's name. Thus, one arrives at a horse's name. Fraley. Fraley, a pinto, a Ukrainian horse breed, a beautiful horse that my daughter used to ride. A small tragedy occurred near Kyiv, revealing the special cruelty of those stinking, stupid orcs. They seized the stables. and they brutalized the stable man. This was on the third or fourth day of the war. It was at the beginning of the war. They made the stable man crawl face down, flat on the ground, to a certain place in 2 minutes, otherwise he would be shot. Crawl over earth dusted with snow, otherwise he would be shot. The stable man went into the stables to feed the horses. Horses that compete in competitions, show jumping, dressage. Good horses that have never been offended by humans. The Russians took over the stables. The Russians don't know what to feed horses. Horses that have never experienced cruelty. One little pony named Coquette always smiled at me. The Russians captured the stables and starved the horses. Starved them. One man tried to reach the horses to feed them, and he was killed by the Russian beasts. Russian beasts kill people. Does it make sense to talk about starving horses when Russian orcs are killing civilians in Ukraine? Does it make sense to talk about Fraley, who's 4 years old, 12 in human age? Does it make sense to talk about a horse when children are dying? Does it make sense to talk about a pony I always loved when children are dying? Does it make sense to talk about horses when people are dying, when children are dying, when children are dying of dehydration? We are not talking about Fraley. We don't know what's happened to her. We keep hoping. We know that one good little pony is dead. We know that 5 more horses are dead. No, we're not talking about Fraley. I call my mother and I say, Povitria, air, in Ukrainian. I call my father and I say, Povitria, air, in Ukrainian. I call Sasha and I say, Povitria, air, in Ukrainian. I hear their tired, calm voices, and I'm ashamed that I'm here while they're there in Kyiv. In Ukrainian, my father says, daughter, you never let us sleep. All your childhood, you never let us sleep. Now that you're an adult, shh, let us sleep. We're okay. We're okay. but they're living in a large apartment block with a few other elderly people. I can't breathe. I can't breathe because of my hatred of the Russians. War is when you can't breathe out of hatred. War is when your body is convulsed in pain out of fear for your relatives. It's when you escape with your child and you spend your whole time scrolling through the news. It's when you can't admire the beauty of Europe's streets. Your heart is at home. You live at home. You learn what to do in the event of a chemical attack on your family. You run to them, you cry, you can't cry. It was easier in Kyiv. It was easier in your own homeland. You're ashamed that you left. You live only for the news and for chats with your friends. Your relatives are hanging on. You're sort of hanging on. Well, you're safe, damn it. Although after what's happened, you know there are no safe places. Everything can change in one day. At first, you try to pressurize your relatives. It's time to get you out of Kyiv. What are you thinking? You make recommendations, because after all, you already left. And then your mother says in a low voice that she doesn't have a small suitcase. She does not have a small suitcase. And in her intonation, you can hear the beating of her heart. She's afraid. She's glad you got out, you bitch, but she's there with Dad. Two defenseless people living in a high-rise building with a handful of neighbors. And you decide to shut up. You decide to shut up. Because any pressure brought by those who abandoned those who remained is like beating a defenseless little child. It's like beating a child. I had a girlfriend. We went to Crimea together. Her name was Ira Dubrova. We went to Crimea at the turn of the century, when our biggest problem was finding the meaning of life and trousers big enough to fit our bums. My friend came from Bucha, a small town near Kyiv. My friend was last online on March the 2nd. March the 2nd, 2022. She's been out of touch, out of touch. My friend's mother has diabetes. There's a shortage of insulin in Kyiv. Bucha was blown to bits. I try to imagine my friend and her mother hiding in a basement as she searches for her cat. I try to find her. I make inquiries. No one knows anything. I remember how we walked around Crimea at the turn of the century, how we bought wine, how we got drunk, how we listened to music. I remember when our biggest question was, why in hell are we alive? Not how do we survive? I hope my friend is alive. I hope maybe she just dropped her phone as she was boarding an evacuation bus. Just dropped her phone. This evening, curfew in Kyiv. I call the man I love. We talk about the day, how the day went. Softly, I caress the screen where his cheek is. I want to kiss him so much, but there's distance between us. There's a wall between us. I want to go home. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Oh, gosh, oh, how lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kristin. Thank you very much. It was so powerful. We would like...
They will be old and wise when they are back from this war. Where they had gone was no place for a fine metaphor. Rifle is not the tool for tuning a lyre, hence these free verses, broken with burns from fire. Hence all these lines, unrhymed, shooting point blank. How should one read them, or like them, or even dislike, or rank? Letters in verses are bullets in a gun round, berries of dry viburnum, blood on the ground, honest and black like seeds in a sunflower head, fluttering like a salmon caught in the net. They tap like a pouch of ashes right in the chest. God, I have read enough. Now give me some rest. Can I please close my eyes or just look away? Switch to somebody else, perhaps Hemingway? Give me some flipping Byron. Give me Saul Bellow, or maybe that other fella, Henry Longfellow. Thesis against antithesis, stones from the skies. Oh, these Cyrillic letters, the cutting knives, piercing my throat, reaching my guts and heart. Give me a break. It's painful. It's simply hard. But no, I must carry on. I must persevere. I'm far away, I know, but I need to be here, clenching my teeth, reading it line by line, bleeding all over the page, being alive.
It is a crisp, cold February morning here in Kiev, and I am standing by the so-called House of Writers at 76 Khmelnytsky Street. This building was once home to more than 130 Ukrainian writers, poets, and artists. Over 30 of them were killed by Soviet Russia in the 20th century. Today, in 2026, Ukrainian writers, poets of the 21st century are once again facing a deadly threat from the neighboring country. Many, such as Igor Mitrov, Arthur Dron, Olena Hrasimyuk, and Dmytro Lazutkin, are defending their land as soldiers of the Ukrainian army. Others, including Katerina Babkina and Katerina Kalitko, have become the voice of Ukraine to the world. Let us hear the voices of these artists today.
No, not if they kill you, you won't.
Even if they do, I will. I reassure her arrogantly. I know she is not going to verify this. Truth be told, I have removed all the poems from my pockets a while ago to make room for ammo. Although even these days, by force of habit, I sometimes reach into my pocket for a line or two only to touch the cold metal. And then I spit at my brother or sister in arms a curse word or an occasional rhyme. Max to Olena, January 31st, 11:30 p.m., somewhere near Kupiansk, Ukraine. Finally, I am back with my regiment and can send you a message. It feels so weird to be stationed in the village where you and I spent so much time as kids. And, believe it or not, a stranger thing happened. The guys and I were looking for an empty house to stay in. And the only place that still is livable here is the house of our neighbor, Old Halia. She always had the sweetest pears, which we would steal from her garden. Oh, how she beat me with a towel once when I got caught. It looks like she left a long time ago now. So my men and I have the whole house to ourselves. If only she could see me sleeping on her bed with my dirty boots on, it would be worse than being caught stealing pears. By the way, that photo of your granny is still on the wall by her bed. Anyway, how are you? Are you okay?
Olena to Max, January 31st, 11:35 p.m., Kiev, left bank. Thank God I heard from you. They're fine, cold but fine. I've never been so cold in my life. It's -22 outside, 11 degrees inside. I envy our cat Beatrice. She has such a thick coat of fur. Every time I come home, I stayed in my puffer jacket for at least an hour before I dare to take it off. I often remember our Kharkiv house, especially the fireplace. If only we could go back. I think I would keep the fire on day and night, even in summer. I hope you are warm and that Hala's stove is still working. Keep Granny's photo for me.
So, when you leave your home, there is no coming back. You may not know it, shutting the door behind you. Permits and visas, a change of clothes in the bag, travelers, aliens, yes. But let me remind you, when you are passing through the border control, there is no need to explain how you got this far. Life is what happens while you are paying the toll, waiting for them to finally lift the bar.
The piles of settlement clearly marked on the maps. Who read the maps? I wonder, a military bloke. Here is the recipe: bourbon, ice, and perhaps a couple of slices of lime and a glass of Coke. When you wake up, you'll see that the sky is pale. Colors are gone and birds are flying away. Trains are awaiting, stuck on the frozen rails. Moving at last. Great, we don't have all day.
The carriage can go off track like the Earth sometimes misses its orbit, heading away from the sun. The galleons wrecked, the pieces afloat in the tides. Oh Lord, thanks for saving my soul. Anytime, my son. What have you learned in the last 40 years or so? Wandering across the desert, roaming the world, except for fixing a drink to comfort your soul, erasing your memories, all of them, word by word.
Though that's emerged from all your previous lives, the borders you crossed, the little secrets you hid, the data you stored on all your personal drives. But looking back is a bad idea indeed. Radio's playing the song that you heard before. You better switch off the bloody radio, girl. Something inside, in the left of your chest, is sore. But don't you look back. Don't you look back. Oh well.
This is another cold morning in Kiev, and according to the Weather Bureau, this winter is one of the coldest on the record, and certainly the coldest one in the last 10 years. When I stepped off the train this morning, the big thermometer on the platform showed -22, exactly 30 degrees colder than in London, where I was just 16 hours ago.
Max to Olena. February 1st, 9:30 a.m., somewhere near Kupiansk. We too have a cat here. The fluffy bastard came from nowhere last night and wouldn't leave. He spent the whole night at my feet. Perhaps he's one of the cats that used to come to old Hala, and he feels that I'm local. I remember how Beatrice was terrified when there were New Year fireworks outside, spending days under the couch. Here, there's a constant sound of shelling somewhere. But this little fucker doesn't care. I've called him Mavic. Mavic 3T, to be precise, because as all cats, he has a night vision.
Olena to Max, February 2nd, 5 p.m. Kiev, left bank. I've been busy all day and it helped me to cope with the cold and with thought of how much I miss you. It's been almost a year since you last leave. January was terrible. The school break was extended through the end of the month because there was no light or heating. Today was the first school day, but our school was still closed. And I had to teach my classes online. With my 9th grade, we just went through Lesa Ukrainka's Contra Spenspero. Against all hope, I hope. It's like she knew something.
У березні морозному чи в квітні, коли зірки, мов рани ножові, знайди слова, які комусь потрібні, знайди слова, допоки всі живі. Нехай вони гарчать, як дикі звірі, нехай розкажуть, як насправді є. Господь рятує кожного по вірі, і кожному по справах роздає. Важка росяна віта, так сонячно і вранішньо блищить. У цьому світі важко не любити, практично неможливо не любити. Лови сніжинки теплими губами, коли епоха, мов німе кіно, і в шибку б'ються ангели лобами, а демони всередині давно. Важка росяна віта, так ранішньо і зоряно блищить. У цьому світі важко не любити, практично неможливо не любити. Практично неможливо не любить, але блищить важка росяна віта,
We are getting reports that on 5th February 2026, Ukraine and Russia carried out a large prisoner swap with more than 3,010 people exchanged. This was the first formal prisoner of war swap in about 5 months, agreed during the most recent talks between the two sides. There are, however, no reports of any kind of peace deal so far. It looks like this year's Nobel Peace Prize will hang unassigned.
Olena to Max, February 6th, 8 a.m., Kiev Left Bank. I managed to recharge my phone. We had electricity for almost 4 hours today. And read the news. There was this guy, Nazar, who had been listed as missing since May 2022. There was funeral in his home village. With an empty coffin, his family had been told he was dead. It turns out he had been a prisoner of war all this time. And the Russians returned him yesterday. Can you imagine? I thought, if that thing happened, maybe, just maybe, we will still hear from my little brother Andrei. I pray every day. Contra spero.
Ave Maria of Avdiivka. Hello, Father. Your son is at Piske, fighting. He'd rather kill than forgive this horde. Ave, my Lord.
Bless him. Let him take 5. Both fight. 100 Sasuras fought at Debaltseve. 100 Stusses all died.
Ave Virgin Mary, you are in your son's heart while he is being tortured in Bakhmut at the backyard.
Had he survived the torture, he could have been alive. Ave Maria of Mariupol. Take 5.
I am standing here in the center of Kiev. Most of the windows around me are dark after almost 2 months of Russia's bombardments of the city infrastructure. Many flats have no electricity and are barely inhabitable. And yet the locals are trying to carry on. The sound you can hear is the sound of generators. Most businesses are doing their best to keep the city alive and run businesses as usual, an impossible challenge in these circumstances. But look, even the wine shop behind me is open.
Max to Olena, February 7th, 11:45 p.m., somewhere near Kupiansk. It looks like the old Hala, bless her soul, is still taking care of me. Her basement is still full of stuff, particularly food, pickled gherkins, cabbages, her famous cherry jam. There were also a couple of bottles of that terrible wine she would make from the small Isabella grapes from her garden. I couldn't help myself but thinking how you and I traveled together for the first time when we went to Crimea. And they would serve that local sweet wine everywhere we went. We brought the whole box with us to Kharkiv to keep that flavor of Crimea with us through the entire winter. Anyway, got to go. Mavic says hello, meow to Beatrice. Листопадові вірші з неточними римами, випадкові рядки, що ведуть у нікуди, затихаючи звуки, згасаючи тремоло, словоформи, що ледве тримаються купи у холодних широтах, де зорі невидимо розчиняються поза північними сяйвами. Ми з тобою з дому опівночі вийдемо, просто неба з тобою на вулиці сядемо.
Листопадові вітер трястими гілками, і жбурлятиме листя у вікна мансарди. Ми дістанемо білі картонні стакани і вино з потаємних підвалів Масандри. Відкоркуємо пляшку, зірвавши акциз з надрукованим кодом південного берега. Я згадаю про те, що стакани русиць і налию нектару до срібного келиха. Листопадовий вітер летить у вікно, ми його не сповільнимо, вже й не спимо. Тож давай просто пити південне вино і сидіти отак і тулитися спинами. Від солодкого хересу на язику виникають слова, що раніше не знали ми в листопадову ніч. І глуху, і гірку розпанахані хмари летять над кварталами. Листопадовий вітер розтерзаний вщент, наче вірші з кульгавим обірваним метром розлетяться на букви, пролються дощем і живою водою синтагмою мертвою. Відкоркуємо пляшку, зірвавши акциз з надрукованим кодом південного берега. Я згадаю про те, що стакани русиць і налию нектару до срібного келиха. Листопадовий вітер летить у вікно, ми його не сповільнимо, вже й не спимо. Тож давай просто пити південне вино і сидіти отак і тулитися спинами. Відкоркуємо пляшку, зірвавши акциз з надрукованим кодом південного берега. Я згадаю про те, що стакани русиць і налию нектару до срібного келиха. Листопадовий вітер летить у вікно, ми його не сповільнимо, вже й не спимо. Тож давай просто пити південне вино і сидіти отак і тулитися спинами.
Let me try with my finger, I said to her. And on the third attempt, managed to push the cork inside through the neck of the bottle of Italian dry red
wine. I think it was Chianti. We bought it in a supermarket at the capital's outskirts, as someone told us that the shops in Borodyanka were closed, and I suddenly recalled how I once splashed this wine all over me in Naples, boarding the ferry to Capri. 20 euros a ticket. Yes, it definitely was Chianti.
The rain was about to start, but changed its mind. The cold spring of 2022 was too exhausted to cry. The Russian had just been pushed out of Borodyanka. We were recording interviews with the old women who survived the occupation. Some of them were lamenting, wailing really, with deep and colorless voices, like shell-shocked cows. When they showed out their houses with the walls damaged by shell fragments, when they recalled the shooting and screaming, the screaming of those whom they later buried in their own backyards.
Under the grey spring sky, under the clouds, heavy as their memories, these small mounds, these plastic wreaths on the makeshift wooden crosses are still standing before my eyes.
The sun was trying to look away, hiding behind the horizon. The red wine left a few stains on my sweater. You said, I feel guilty after everything that happened. Whatever I do, wherever I go. We all feel guilty. From now on and forever. Guilty because we survived. Those who escaped because they didn't stay.
Those who could shoot because they didn't.
Those who didn't die because others did.
The old man who gave our last can of food approached with a chipped cup in his hand and asked, "Pour me some too." And so I did.
Since the beginning of the war, the position of Elon Musk on the invasion has been famously inconsistent. However, this time the tycoon appears to have done the right thing. SpaceX has finally implemented measures to stop Russian military use of Starlink in Ukraine. Russian forces had reportedly been using Starlink satellite internet, often via terminals obtained unofficially, to help the battlefield communications and drone operations. Ukrainian officials and SpaceX worked together to deactivate or restrict those unauthorized connections.
Max to Olena, February 9th, 10:30 p.m., somewhere near Kupiansk. So, we are getting relocated again. I cannot tell you where yet, but it won't be far. I don't want to leave old Hale's house. It was the first time in 4 years that I felt at home. But enough of abusing her hospitality. I will let you know more as soon as I'm allowed to. I miss you so much. In 2022, I thought that I would get used to being without you. But no, it's still the same.
Olena to Max, February 9th, 11 p.m., Kiev, Left Bank. Please, please, please let me know where you are as soon as you can. Yesterday I wanted to go to church and pray for you. I know you always make fun of me. You do not respect what you call organized religion, but that never mattered for me. We've had no light for so long now. My room is now full of candles. It looks like a church. So I just prayed. For you, for Andrei, for old Hala, for all of us, and for the first time, I felt like there was no response. Just silence. But I don't give up. I think my hope is stronger than my faith.
Our Father, the Lord of sovereign Ukraine, I raise my radio in thy name. I pronounce thine alias into the receiver. I say, hello. Smurf boy and Hera girl are calling. Are you really the one who art in heaven? Hope I'm dialing the right number, or they might patch me through to Allah or Jewish God.
Our Father, the Lord of sovereign Ukraine, our towers are down. You might have missed my previous calls, but to hell with that. Our Father, there is some crap happening with the incoming calls. The sky is falling. People are going down. Let them in. They will pass you the message.
Our Father, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, and we are okay with that, as long we are not being shot at. Give us time. Give us syringes and tourniquet, hemostatic bandages, a decompression needle, a bandage for a knocked out eye, diesel fuel, body bags, armor for driver paramedics, so they deliver everyone alive and well, and stay alive and well.
Our Father, the Lord of sovereign Ukraine, Smurf boy and Hera girl are calling. Thy will be done. Just give us strength to survive it. Thy kingdom come, as long as it's not the kingdom of our dictators, and from anything else we can break out, for we've been through hell.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, but not as it was in Ilovaisk, where blood was mixing with soil. Don't let it happen like it did in Vesela Hora, when the souls could not get out from under the corpses for the judgment day. When, if it wasn't for the kid, Valkyrie, and their shovels, we would be late to meet you. Kolya would be late, and Pasha, and even Vita, who would always be there on time for the boring morning classes in the old school he was attending in the village of Holoskovichi. Therefore, give the kid, Valkyrie, and their shovels happiness, grace, and health for eternity.
Our Father, it's Smurf boy and Hera girl calling. When this message reaches you, we will be old. The war will be over, another war will begin, we will be dead. But as you can see, we are not losing our hope. Our time flies like a rope tied to a fallen weight. It is easy to grab, but try to stop it, and your hands will bleed from the friction. I have occupied our only line, a thin black thread between the world and the trench. I'm dialing God from my field telephone. Before the Russians have killed us all, before someone overhears.
Our Father, don't give us our daily bread, for it spoils without a freezer. Better, give us capsule cigarettes, a decent mechanic, and orders from the general staff, for we are sitting here without orders. Our Father, forgive us our debts, for we found cards and played them and had nothing to pay back with, because the volunteers are like church mice and the contractors only have debit cards. So no one lost and no one won. Only Sasha, the squaddy, got the epaulets of 2 sixes, just for fun.
But do not forgive our foes who trespass against us, for they killed first. How can we forgive them? Oh Lord, how can we forgive them? Every shell, every bullet they send carries our names.
For Ukrops from the people of Donbass. Donbass, my arse, you are from Vladikavkaz. Our people have not been there since the time of the camps.
Our Father, thy art and thy knowest that we are fucked. Our Father, give orders and give us ammo. Thy will be done on our land.
Forgive us our losses recorded on the checklist in gloomy days and in dark days. And from evil we will deliver ourselves without help. And lead us not into temptation to shoot ourselves, not on the city street, nor on the front line. For this is exactly why some of us have come here.
Our Father, Smart Boy and Hera Girl are calling. Send our regards to the Spirit, the Father and the Son, forever and ever, plus plus out.
Heavenly Father, our towers are falling.
Heavenly Father, I know there is no much left.
Leave me if you wish to talk in person.
Our Father, Smart Boy and Hera Girl
Our
are calling.
Father,
Send
Smart Boy
our
and
regards
Hera
to the
Girl are
Spirit,
calling.
the
Send
Father
us
and the
regards
Son,
to the Spirit,
forever and
the
ever,
Father
plus
and the
plus
Son,
out.
forever
Heavenly
and
Father,
ever,
our
plus
towers are falling.
out.
Heavenly Father, I know
our
there is
towers
no
are
much
falling. Heavenly
left.
Father, I know there is not much left. Leave me if you wish to talk in person. Max to Olena. February 12th, 8 p.m. Somewhere near Kupiansk. I still cannot tell you my location, but I'm fine. Not much time to write, but one thing I can tell you. Where I am, it's not much worse than where I was before. How are you? Is the heating back on? Are you warm? Tell me about your day. I want to know. I love you so much.
Olena to Max, February 12th, 8:15 p.m. Kiev, left bank. Today was a strange day. I went to the hospital where I volunteer. There was that soldier, Ruslan. He lost his side and his legs because of his injuries. I usually bring him sweets. He's barely 20 and has a sweet tooth, poor boy. Most of the days he sits on his wheelchair facing the window. And although he cannot see a thing, he asked for the curtains to be open. I wanted to do something for him, to make him feel life outside of the hospital walls, to feel the breeze on his cheeks, the snow on his skin. And today I brought him snow, a snowball. I gave it to him, opened the window, put a blanket over his shoulders, and there we are sat. I was holding his hand and he was holding the snowball. The snow was melting. The water was dripping onto the floor. Normally, this would have made me cry. But it didn't. I didn't shed a single tear. I just got angry. I know who is to blame. We all know. I love you very much. Do not ask how I am. I don't really know what to say. Have you noticed how long my hair gets every day? Like it has a particular purpose, a special reason to grow. When it's over, I'll wrap it around you. I won't let you go.
I'm not asking how are you. Instead, let's just do some small talk. In this war, every stone, every pebble, the tiniest rock has been used as ammo to load your unlikely slingshot. I don't know how you feel, but this weapon is all that you've got.
When the bells are all tolling and when you are left out of breath, our dead, they are standing with us, trampling down their death. Can you hear them wailing like an air raid siren at night? I don't know what to call what I hear. No language seems right.
There's no way to define it, to name it, to measure, to weigh our everyday lives, or whatever we live every day. in our villages, towns, in our houses, and what we endure, day by day, night by night, only love will be able to cure.
Love will seem through the edges of wounds in our bodies and souls. It will flow like a stream through the sands, through the desert and shoals. Love will mourn our blood, will repair the scars from the war. But that's once this is over, at last, not a moment before.
So, for now, please don't talk about love. It's no time. So, just don't. Have some rest, while the night's being lit by the glints of the dawn.
Коли настане день, закінчиться війна, там загубив себе, побачив аж до дна. Так лагідно і не пускай. Обійми мене, обійми. Твоя весна прийде нехай. І от моя душа складає зброю вниз. Невже таки вона так хоче теплих сліз? Обійми мене, обійми. отпускай. Hold me tenderly, hold me tenderly, hold me tight. You'll see you spring, come back again. Hold me tenderly, hold me tenderly, hold me tight. Don't let me go and hush the pain. Oh, baby,
Thank you so very much for being with us today again, and keep supporting Ukraine. People in Ukraine rely on us.